It has been more than 2 months since I did my blind unboxing and setup of the Nintendo Switch, so it's time to do an accessibility review. Is this a good gaming console for somebody who's blind or low vision? Spoiler alert, not really. But it does have magnification, and it's still a whole lot of fun. Let's talk about it. Hi everyone, this is Carrie on Accessibility, where we talk about accessibility and technology. If you're interested in that type of video, hit the subscribe button and the bell to stay up to date on the latest videos. This video has been brought to you by the amazing Koa YouTube and Patreon members. A big huge thank you to Robert Johnson for becoming a new Koa Epic ally. It is now 2024 and we have accessibility settings built into nearly all major forms of technology. On the computer, we have built-in screen readers, voiceover, narrator. On the phone, we have built-in screen readers and magnification, voiceover, talkback. Even when it comes to gaming, we have a screen reader on the PS5 as well as the Xbox. So Nintendo, why is it that your Switch does not have a screen reader? Please, somebody explain why Nintendo does not have a screen reader on their gaming console. That is my #1 issue. I mentioned it earlier, but I did a live unboxing of the Switch and setting it up, and it was quite painful. I was using my phone and an OCR app to try to read what was on the screen and try to figure it out. I was listening to the sound prompts and trying to figure out. This is the first time that I used the Switch, okay? I didn't even know that A is select and B is back because I haven't used the Nintendo since the Nintendo 64 when I was little. My brother is the gamer in our family and he's had the PlayStations and Xboxes, so I'm used to that. I didn't know. It took a community effort to figure all of this out and it was painful. Another major challenge I had is that it started in light mode and you have to get through all the setup before you can get to settings to change it to dark mode. For me, white is a lot of glare and it's just so hard for me to read and it really hurts my eyes. I need dark mode as an accessibility feature. A lot of devices, a Pixel, Samsung, even iPhone, their setup process is usually in dark mode and that is super duper helpful. Carrie from the future here. The devices aren't always set to dark mode right away, but usually there's a way to change it to dark mode during setup. I did try to use a magnifier during setup and it was just too difficult, but I did get through it. And once I did go to settings and switch to dark mode, it is a pretty good screen. This is an OLED screen. It's not the highest resolution, but it works. It's great. The sound is pretty good. The screen is pretty good. If you compare it to the smartphone screens are still going to be better, and Samsung tablets, like the high-end tablets, are still going to have better screens in my opinion. But this is great. This is an OLED screen. I have seen Nintendo Switches that have the LCD panels, and those are just way too hard and washed out for me to see. There's not enough contrast, but this goes pretty bright. I wouldn't say it goes as bright as your phone, but it can get bright enough to see, as long as you stay inside. I did try one time to go out and it wasn't super sunny, but there was a lot of light outside and it was just not enough for me to see. Also, the screen is reflective, so it wasn't the best experience. I couldn't do it, so I went back inside to play. You can connect it to a USB keyboard, which would have been really helpful for me in setup, especially typing in the Wi-Fi password, but I didn't have a USB keyboard easily available, so I just struggled with the on-screen keyboard. That was interesting. Another feature it has is color inversion. You can invert the whole screen. The problem with that is there's no quick way to invert your colors. You have to dig into the settings each time and invert the colors. Before we continue, let me show you how to change these settings. So first you go to settings and then you go down to system. There's an option to change display colors. Once you press A on that, you have 3 options, just the regular mode, inverted, or grayscale. Then if you go back, the next option below that is zoom. You can press A to toggle it on or off. I'm very disappointed that there is no text size options. Even with a lot of other technology and devices, there's at least a text size option, and that would have just been really helpful. And more games I wish had a text size option too. Animal Crossing. Pokemon. Next, let's go over magnification. Once you have the toggle on in the settings, you can double press the home button and this will activate zoom. Then you can press Y or hold it down and it will zoom in, and if you press X, it will zoom out. You can also use pinch to zoom since this is a touch screen. If you are using the touch screen, you can use one finger to move around the screen, but if you want to use the controls, you can use the joysticks. If you move one joystick, it will move a little slower, but if you move 2 at the same time, it should move a little faster. I kind of do like that. Whenever you have magnification activated, there's a big, thick aqua border around the whole screen, and there is a toolbar. Sometimes it's at the bottom and sometimes it's at the top. If you pan to the top of the screen, the toolbar will move to the bottom, but if you move all the way down on the screen, the toolbar will appear at the top. So at least if you're trying to see the text right at the bottom, that toolbar will not block you. And same if you're trying to read something at the top of the screen. I don't know why the toolbar doesn't just go away. That would be nice if it could just go away. I don't even need the lines around it, but you know, I can live with that. The issue comes when your magnification is activated. You cannot interact with the system in any way. You can't play games, you can't control any of the operating system on the Switch. You either have to turn off magnification, which you can double press the home button to do, or you can single press the home button and this will lock your magnification. It'll stay exactly where you have it magnified at the same magnification level, and from there you have normal control. You can use the joysticks, you can press A to select or B to go back. You would be able to use all the controls as anybody would using the Switch. If there's something that you do want to adjust, like zooming in or zooming out, or just panning around the screen, you have to press the home button again. This makes it incredibly difficult to zoom in on action-based games, things that you have to be fast to do. It did help me a lot with Pokemon. I was playing Let's Go Pikachu, and since it's text-based mostly and there's not a lot of moving right away, it's turn-based. And because it's turn-based, it was a lot easier for me to use magnification. But for something like Spyro, which my son really enjoys, you have to move around so much that magnification just gets in the way. You don't have enough control. Having to toggle it on and off all the time is really challenging. I wish they found a different way. If I have magnification activated, why can't I press A to select and B to go back? I don't understand why I have to lock it to be able to do those actions. It can be really frustrating, let me tell you. It can zoom in a good amount, but I wish that you can actually zoom in even more and make things bigger. For reading text, it's usually big enough for me, but there are little things that I just wish I could zoom into more. You can attach it to the dock and have it show up on the TV, and that's what I did for Mario Kart and Spyro, and that does help. However, when it's a turn-based or text-based game, I need to see the text really close. Like, I need to be a few inches away. And when you have a big TV, I feel like I have to exercise to read everything in front of me. So I have to go from the left side of the screen all the way to the right side of the screen to read the box. And maybe exercise is good for me, but that is really annoying when you're playing a game. Another option you could do is get a portable monitor that's 12 inches or 15 inches and plug it into the Nintendo Switch dock. That is probably a good idea if you have a lot of text-based games and you don't need it to be 65 inches big or 48, however big your TV is. Basically, it would make it bigger without being too big and making you do gymnastics. Or maybe it's more like calisthenics or whatever the word is. I got a capture card and I connected that to the Nintendo dock, then plugged the capture card, which had USB-C. I plugged it into my Samsung S9 Plus tablet. Then I hunted down a USB webcam app and I was actually able to see the image on my tablet, but the latency was terrible. Didn't matter so much when I was playing Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu, but can't do things like Mario Kart or Spyro or things like that, or even Pokemon Scarlet. No, didn't work. Was definitely better if I just plug it straight to my computer or the TV. The only reason I did get a capture card was that it was only 20 something bucks on Amazon instead of 100 to 200 for an external monitor. So those are my thoughts on the Nintendo Switch. I am still very disappointed in Nintendo for not having a screen reader and not making their games accessible. It is 2024 now, and I challenge Nintendo to do better. They should be doing better. I do know some people who are totally blind that use OCR, but I am not that patient, and I applaud them for doing that, but it takes a lot of patience and dedication and a lot of fortitude to do that. I just can't really recommend that. But if you have enough functional vision and you can use magnification, this will probably work for you, and I really like the OLED screen. That's pretty much it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up below. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you want to support this channel and what I do, trying to make this world more accessible, please consider becoming a YouTube member or joining the Koa Patreon. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.